Mr. Gardner Flint Minshew II. We talk every week. We have our weekly segment, the Minshew Moment, and it's back. And Andrew, this week, we spent a lot of time in the past talking about, potential landing spots for Minshew or, where he might be a good fit. And I think we've exhausted a lot of that. There hasn't been a lot of news on specifically Minshew and where he might end up as of recently. There was an article, I think, recently that said he might be a good fit for Seattle, but we'll see how realistic that actually is, right? I wanted to just spend a little bit, though, talking about how Gardner Minshew and his production on the field has kind of gone under the radar. And for those of you who don't know, let me put out my handy dandy Minshew meter. So Minshew Mania was running wild the past few years. Gardner Minshew in his career, 37 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 5,530 yards, 7 wins to 13 losses. That is not his fault. The Jacksonville Jaguars are putrid. He also was 6-6 in his rookie year, so that's something to take note of. Also, swagger over 9,000. Cannot overstate that last part, as we saw last week with his makeover, over 9,000. But
Serious, I was
Minshew,
scared when he dropped those pictures. I was terrified. I'm serious. I was actually terrified. I was like, my team has to play against that shit.
Yeah, the confidence was insane out of Minshew in those pictures, but. We've seen that production. We've seen the production. He doesn't turn the ball over. He completes over 60% of his passes. He has a decent record as a starter, and arguably his rookie year probably should have been rookie of the year. He went 6-6 as a starter, as opposed to Kyler Murray, who I believe went like 5-10-1, and Minshew actually had better numbers per game. But let's not talk about that. But why do you think Minshew has gone under the radar? Is it Jacksonville Jaguars? Is it them as an organization? Is it, maybe people see something that doesn't show up on film automatically and they have to analyze it? Because statistically, he's doing well. If you look at how he does against, against all these different defenses, he doesn't turn the ball over, and he does a lot of things you like to see out of a quarterback, going through his reads, going through his progressions, extending plays with his legs. He does a lot of that kind of stuff. And it reminds you a lot of an Alex Smith type quarterback, which, again, is not an insult at all. It's a compliment. But, Andrew, what is it? What is it about Gardner Minshew that you think turns GMs or coaches off? What is it that, they might not like? Why is he not getting the credit that he probably deserves?
So first off, I think a lot of it has to do with he's in that small market. The small market that is pretty much every team in the AFC South outside of Houston. And the issue is that they just don't get the same love. And given the season that they just came off of, where Jacksonville was 1-15, they did win that week 1 game against Indy and didn't win again. I think part of the problem is that it's Jacksonville. I mean, that's all I have to say, man. It's Jacksonville. He's not a bad quarterback. I mean, I get to watch him play twice a year against my team. He's not a bad quarterback. He can extend plays. Obviously he's not Tom Brady. He's obviously not Lamar Jackson, but he's a guy, like the numbers show. Like, you can put him out there, he can win you some games if he has anything similar to a team around him. So I just think what turns a lot of these GMs and a lot of these people off is that, the NFL is kind of becoming more of like, it's like a flashy thing. And like most of the teams, they want to find like, the flashy quarterback. It's either they want the flashy quarterback or Tom Brady's the only one who's not flashy, but Tom Brady's been doing it for so long. You know what I'm saying? He's going to, wherever he goes, the cameras go, just because he's been doing it for so long. Everybody else, unless, they're doing something really flashy, whether they're Kyler Murray is, rolling out, breaking 3 tackles, and then throwing a Hail Mary that DeAndre Hopkins catches over 3 dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. And that's just not Jacksonville. Like, it's a small market. It's similar to what I experienced with Derrick Henry, where Derrick Henry was leading the league in rushing for the entire year, and it completely went under the radar. It completely went under the radar just because Tennessee's a small market. So it just has to do with the fact that he's in a small market, and the team isn't doing well. Like, the team didn't do well this past season. So he's a really good quarterback, though. I think he'll land on his feet wherever he ends up. And I think it's just a shame, though, because he's not a bad quarterback, and given how he's young too. That's the thing. He's young. He's on a player-friendly contract and everything like that. Like I understand, a lot of teams would be like, obviously like maybe some teams would want Russell Wilson over him, but it's just, given the money and everything like that, and given Russ's age and everything like that, I don't know. So we'll see what happens with Minshew, but I think he should get a lot more credit.
Yeah, I mean, if you said it very blatantly, I think it's a low risk move. If you're a team that needs a quarterback, it's a low risk move. He's in a situation where they've already brought in a potential backup quarterback to the number one pick that they're going to draft in Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. So Minshew's likely on his way out. They want to get rid of him one way or another. You also have the fact that he's on his rookie deal. He still has 2 years. If you pick up his fifth-year option, you potentially 3 years on his rookie deal as a sixth-round pick. So he's not making that much money. You wouldn't have to pay him that much money. And he can come in and he can, at worst, be a really, really good game-managing quarterback. So I never saw why people were not noticing him. Maybe it is because he plays in Jacksonville. I think that's probably what it comes down to. He's slipped under the radar, but then again, if you think, isn't it their job to find these people who slip under the radar? Isn't it like if you're a scout, if you're a GM, if you're in player development or whatever, isn't it your job to find out the people who are slipping under the radar so you can sign them, so you can take advantage of a potential opportunity? If you're the Bears, if you're the New England Patriots, if you're any team that potentially might need a quarterback. Why don't I don't get it, and it's especially the Bears. Obviously you're not going to pay Mitch Trubisky like $20 million a year. That would be a dumb move. But but this option with Minshew is on the table for them, and it's a situation where if Andy Dalton doesn't play well or if Minshew beats him out, great, because then you don't have to pay Andy Dalton on another contract. He can go away after a year. But with them, and again, it comes back to the Bears, because the Bears right now are the most ideal fit, and they're honestly the only team left I could realistically see pursuing Minshew for anything resembling a starting role. But again, these people in Bears player development, these people in their personnel department, I don't think they know what they're doing, because you literally have one of the most, arguably the most underrated player in the NFL, the person in the NFL who doesn't turn the ball over the most, who while on a shit team, somehow found a way to not turn the ball over or take a lot of sacks. Again, it baffles me. It baffles me how anyone in that personnel department still has a job at this point after the big Mitch Trubisky debacle. It baffles me that they haven't gone out and at least made this low-risk move. And it also baffles me that they're not even looking to draft a quarterback this year. That they're just going to ride it out with Andy Dalton and waste Khalil Mack's years as a Bear. Yeah, they made the playoffs last year. Oh, they made the playoffs. They were 8-8 in a 7-team playoff. They won. They were in the playoffs by default because Arizona didn't show up in their last few weeks. It wasn't because they won. I'm pretty sure didn't they started the year 5-1 and then they finished it. What is it? 3-7.
People were calling them historically the worst 5-1 team they'd ever seen.
And they probably were one of the worst 5-1 teams we've ever seen. And it's, why? It's because of moves like this. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have the foresight to take a chance. A very small chance, I might add, on Gardner Minshew. That 6th-round pick you're going to probably spend on Minshew, what's that going to go to? Who are you going to draft? Because you've already shown that you can't draft anybody if you're the Bears. You've already shown that you don't know what you're doing. You might as well just take a chance. Who knows? Is he going to be the next Tom Brady? Hell if I know. Is he going to be the next Alex Smith? Hell if I know. But what I do know is the potential is there. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.